Your kid just told you they want to learn magic, and now you're searching through YouTube, looking at magic kits, finding books, maybe even looking at classes, but none of them tell you exactly where to start. Well, I'm here to help because any of these paths is perfectly valid, but you just have to keep some things in mind. Our goal here isn't a pile of tricks. It's getting the right one in their hands so that they can share it with someone and have a win. Hi, I'm Brian Kehoe. I'm one of the head magicians here at School of Magic Arts, and today I want to talk about a couple of things. First, the 4 ways that kids typically get started learning magic, and these are YouTube, magic kits, books, and classes, and the ways that each of these can help. Also, we are going to talk about the first trick filter, which is 8 checks to help you find the right trick for your kid. But first, let's talk about music. I know, I know this is about magic, but we're going to talk about music first, because when kids start learning music, nobody hands them Rachmaninoff, right? That's too hard. So they start with things like the Wheels on the Bus or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. These are standards for a reason, and they are first songs for a reason. And magic is the same. So you want to pick one simple visual trick, maybe add a sentence as a script that the kid can repeat, and then finally get them to share it with a person, just one person. Start small, okay? And that's how they go from I like magic to I'm a magician, right? So it's very cool to see kids transform in that way. All right, we have the 4 paths. Now, most magicians who stick with it go through all 4 of these paths. The YouTube, which I'm just going to say video, like learning through video, or kits or books or classes. And I started with a magic kit when I was 7. Then I kind of graduated to watching VHS tapes when I was a little bit older, maybe like 10. And then by the time I was 12, I was reading books. I never took classes as a kid. That wasn't available to me in my hometown. You really just need one path to gauge interest. And so let's look at some of the upsides and downsides of each of these paths. All right, path 1, YouTube, or generally like video learning, but let's stick with YouTube because it is the most accessible. All right, the upsides to YouTube, as I just said, it's free. It is so accessible. It's really easy for people to find what they're looking for. It's endless. There's so much up there. And also it's perfect for figuring out like what your child is most interested in, whether it's coin magic or card magic or silks or everyday objects. There's just so much out there. All right. And then we have some downsides here. First, it can be a little chaotic on YouTube. They're inconsistent. The videos are kind of all over the place, so it's hard to find one that might be a good fit. A lot of them are geared towards adults, and honestly, a lot of the content is created by creators who are looking for likes and views and all of that stuff, so they might not be the best at teaching. And lastly, many of these are not really good for the real world. Some students come into our classes doing magic tricks that can only be done for a camera, and after maybe many takes, right? They get one good take out of it. So just be aware when looking for magic on YouTube that there are a lot of these out there. Okay. So this is the lowest barrier to entry because it's just so easy to access. Most of the students who come to our school have come from this path, which is totally, of course. And if you want to use this path, you'll have to do some digging to find what you need. We'll talk about the filter that you can use in a minute. All right, let's move on to path 2. These are magic kits. So, upside to magic kits. Excitement. There's that instant excitement of opening a magic kit and seeing all of these really shiny props, because that's another upside. These are fun props. Lots of fun. And there's this like instant spark to want to practice to share the magic with someone. So that is a really, really great thing about magic kits. Of course, there is a downside, a few downsides. Overwhelm is something that we hear often from our students who come from this path of magic kits. There are like 100 tricks and they don't know where to start, and it's, you know, challenging for them sometimes. There's also the instruction booklet is meant for older readers. Sometimes the pictures are not super great, so it can be hard to learn sometimes. And last, plastic pieces. We can't kind of talk about magic kits without talking about plastic pieces. There are lots of small parts that can break or get lost. And usually these are gimmick based, which means if a younger sibling or an older sibling even grabs the prop and takes a look at it, they'll probably be able to figure it out, and that can be a little disappointing. So those are some things to keep in mind regarding magic kits. And I'm not saying don't get a magic kit. Magic kits are great. Like I said, I had one when I was a kid, and it was a nice gateway into learning magic. I even gave my 7-year-old nephew a magic kit for his birthday, and it was 25 tricks, but we chose 5 that he would share with his family, all right, and practiced. So that's what you have to do with a lot of these things, is just choose a small amount for them to practice and then perform. All right, path number 3, magic books. I love magic books. You can see them behind me on this shelf. I absolutely love magic books. So let's look at some upsides to them. They have a huge value. There's so many magic tricks contained within magic books. It's great. You can find magic books that are topic specific, which is really nice. So if you have a kid who's interested in magic and they're only interested in coin magic, perfect. And books are an amazing resource, especially for strong readers. All right, with the ups come the downs, of course. So with books, here's the thing with books. They are generally geared towards adults, unless they have the word kids in the title, all right? And sometimes kids will pick a book that's maybe too advanced for them and then get discouraged, and then they shelf it, which we don't love to see, unfortunately, but it does happen. And last, a lot of published books that you can find commercially are reprints of old magic books from like the 1800s, the 1900s. And so these can be really challenging, even for adult learners. I'm going to show you an example right now, if I go overhead here, of a book. This is called Modern Coin Magic, but it was originally published in 1910, and it has great illustrations, but it's very dense, very, very tricky to work with, again, even as an adult. This is a nice resource, but hard for, especially a paperback book like this that is going to want to constantly close on you. Hard to work with, hard to practice with. The language is challenging. So just be aware that these are the types of books that are out there and available commercially. All right, so that is magic books. Again, you want to look, if you're going to go down this path, you want to look for books that are specifically geared towards kids. Your local library will probably be able to help. Books tend to, because magic is such a niche, books tend to come in and out of style, so it may be hard to find certain books. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find books for kids, to be honest. All right, let's move on to path number 4. These are magic classes or magic programs. The upside to magic classes and magic programs are that there is a structure. These typically meet on a regular basis, so there's that structure there. There's also a progression. right? So typically you'll start somewhere and you'll build off of it and progress through the material. And also there's feedback because you're working with a magician live. You're receiving feedback on your magic, which is great. And last here, there are usually opportunities for performing either within the class or outside of the class, but magic classes usually offer these opportunities. The downside to magic classes, before you even know the spark is going to last, you've got a cost, of course. Usually they're a lot more expensive than books or kits or YouTube, of course. So you've got cost, you've got scheduling, which can be a challenge, and of course, quality varies depending on where you go. Most magicians aren't teaching all year round. They're just teaching every once in a while to make extra money. That's typically how it goes. All right, so before you enroll, make sure the curriculum starts easy, right? Starts with a trick that matches our filter, which I'm going to share with you in just a second. All right, without a goal, kids will learn trick after trick after trick. It's okay. It's just their nature. They're excited. They love learning the secrets to things. It's cute. But we need to make sure that they are progressing. So the goal here is 1 to 2 age-appropriate tricks to start. Just to start. Okay. That shift from watching magic and collecting secrets to doing and sharing their magic with someone, that's where the confidence starts to kick in. All right. Now it's time for our first trick filter. All right, the first trick filter, this is going to help you filter out all of that noise, all of the YouTube videos that you're watching, or all of the tricks in the book, or the magic classes, or the magic kits. This will help you decide which ones are the right first tricks. All right, so number 1, it needs to be safe. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory, but nothing with fire, nothing with blades or needles or anything like that. If your kid is 7 to 10, they're going to want to learn escapology, which is dangerous. So start with something. This automatically filters out a lot of magic, okay? No magic that is, humiliation or pranks. Filter all of that out. Trust me, trust me. All right, that's number 1. Number 2, it needs to be able to fit in their hands. This automatically eliminates a lot of card tricks. Card tricks are too difficult for small hands to handle first. Okay, we can work up to it, but first tricks, probably no cards. All right, so we're going to filter all of those out. No setup. Okay, tricks that they can pick up and perform immediately. It doesn't require any setup, nothing like that. All right, and they should be able to repeat the trick again and again and again as well. All right. Next, number 4, few props. 1 to 2 props. Not a whole bunch of things. No cups and balls at this stage. It's too many things to keep track of. Too many steps to keep track of. It needs to be simple. Okay. All right. Number 5, you want tricks that are high success and low fumble. And what I mean by this is they need to work even when they're nervous, right? If they drop the prop, they need to be able to pick it back up and keep going. So that's why we kind of eliminated cards already, because if they drop the cards and they're in a certain order, they can't really recover from that. All right, so that is what high success, low fumble means. We're looking also for tricks that are clear and visual. What I mean by this is the trick needs to be easy for them to explain and easy for the audience to understand. And 1 or 2 steps, that's it to pull it off. No multi-phase SpongeBob routines, no routines at this point. It's really just 1 trick. All right. We also want tricks that are angle forgiving, right? So, these can still be tricks that need to be performed from, a certain angle, but you want the magician to be in control of where the audience is and all of that. So they need to be angle forgiving, all right? And lastly here, if possible, this one isn't like 100% necessary, but for them to be able to come up with a simple story, like a one sentence premise that they can say at the beginning of the trick that gets them into it. All right. Also, if it's highly customizable, that really helps each magician kind of own their own magic. And that's our first trick filter. You can apply it to all of the paths that we have previously discussed in this video. But just keep in mind, yeah, one trick, right? One trick, maybe one simple sentence for them to say, and then they share it with one person. That gets your kid excited immediately, which is exactly what we're looking for. Finding the best beginner tricks takes time. We took our 5 years of live teaching experience and built a course. Watch Inside Mini Magic Show Creator next.